Rain and melody. The chipped porcelain mug warmed Alara's hands as she watched the rain lash against the cafe window. Outside, the city was a blur of greys and muted colors, a stark contrast to the vibrant posters of sun-drenched beaches that adorned the cafe walls. She wasn't supposed to be here. A sudden downpour had forced her inside, a detour on her meticulously planned route. Alara was a creature of habit, her life a series of neat boxes ticked off with precision. Spontaneity was a foreign language. A bell chimed above the door, and a gust of wind and rain swept in with a man carrying a battered violin case. He shook the water from his coat, a cascade of droplets scattering across the worn wooden floor. He was a mess of contradictions, a tailored suit beneath the dripping raincoat, polished shoes peeking out from beneath mud-splattered trousers. He ordered a black coffee, his voice a low rumble that seemed to vibrate through the cafe. Alara, despite herself, found her gaze drawn to him. He sat at a table by the window, the same window she was watching, but somehow the rain seemed less oppressive on his side. He opened the violin case, and the aroma of aged wood filled the air. He didn't play. He simply held the instrument, his fingers tracing the smooth curves. Then, he looked up, his eyes meeting Alara's. He didn't smile, but there was a flicker of something, recognition perhaps, or maybe just acknowledgement. He closed the case, stood, and walked over to her table. "Do you know the name of this piece?" he asked, his voice softer now, a hint of an accent she couldn't place. He held out a small, worn piece of sheet music. Alara, surprised, took it. It was a handwritten melody, the ink faded and smudged. She didn't recognize it. "I'm afraid I don't," she admitted, feeling a blush creep up her neck. He shrugged, a small smile finally gracing his lips. "It's a song my grandmother used to play," he said. "She never wrote it down, so I try to remember it note by note." He paused, looking back out at the rain. "Sometimes," he continued, "detours lead to the most beautiful discoveries." Then, with a nod, he returned to his table, picked up his violin case, and stepped back into the storm. Alara watched him go, and the cafe suddenly felt empty. She looked down at the rain-streaked sheet music in her hand. She still didn't recognize the melody, but she understood the sentiment. Maybe, just maybe, a little spontaneity wasn't so bad after all. She finished her coffee, a warmth spreading through her that had nothing to do with the chipped porcelain mug. For the first time that day, Alara didn't check her watch. She simply stepped outside, into the rain.